Okay, shalom, shalom. This is Israel Wake Up. This is our closing Sabbath class for Saturday night. It's the 19th of December 2020. And we're gonna do our reference to the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing for us in these last days. We'll do a moment of silence for him, and then we're gonna do our prayer, and then we're gonna go into our current events. O Lord, we come this day praising thee, worshiping thee for thy might and thy power and thy great understanding. O Lord, the end times that you foretold of unto our forefathers are upon us. O Lord, give us strength and wisdom and to endure all that thou hast foretold. Thank you for another Sabbath. Give us, O Lord, the knowledge to rightly divide thy word, that they are delivered in righteousness and in truth. There is great confusion among your inheritance, O Lord, now that you are awakening them. For I know, O Lord, that your hand is sure and that your hand is firm. O Lord, we need you so very much in these latter days. We will tarry and depend upon you, O Lord, because there is none else besides you, O Lord. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto you. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Any current events? Anybody got any current events? You want to bring up something? Yeah, like I was saying this morning, they got a deadline for tomorrow at dark. I was seeing it at dark, close the business for them to come up with that packet for the COVID-19 packet. If they don't, then Monday government gonna be shut down. So yeah, so hopefully they come to a conclusion between now and tomorrow evening. And what I want to do is I want to play this video dealing with Acon. It's about a few minutes. Well, I'm gonna play this other video first. Yeah. Okay, let me see what I'm doing.
What do we know at this hour about why these states are finding their expectations and their supplies cuts?
Well, we're getting sort of conflicting messages, really, out of the administration. They know, bottom line, they still expect 20 million people to be able to get their first shot within December, assuming that the Moderna vaccine gets emergency use authorization today or tomorrow, as everybody expects it will. But the states, many states reporting 30 to 50% cuts in their allocations of Pfizer's vaccine for next week. Some messaging that might just be a mix-up. They were essentially given some old numbers for a training protocol, and now the real numbers are turning out to be less. But then there has been this.
So what's going on is they all of a sudden they're starting to cut the amount of vaccines that's going out of shipments. People noticing that. So evidently something going on.
Back and forth between the administration and Pfizer, where there have been some suggestions, including from Governor Ron DeSantis, who of course is not part of the administration, but made the assertion that Florida's allocation was cut because of Pfizer's manufacturing issues. So Pfizer then has come out and said it has no manufacturing issues, and in fact it has more doses available than have actually been they've been told what to do with, Kelly.
It's fascinating. So Dr. Jalad, what is your sort of take on all of this as it continues to play out in very public view?
Having me on, I think that is the issue, that it's playing out in public view. If you take a step back, what's happened with Operation Warp Speed is really amazing when you think about the science and then the logistics. We're going to have by Christmas 2 vaccines for this disease we have never seen before in people's arms. I think the issue now is communication. And with an operation that is so big, There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be miscommunications. And the issue now is it's playing out in public. So I often, I was thinking earlier about D-Day, an enormous operation. And imagine if all of that had been playing out in public on Twitter or on cable news. So I think this kind of issue is going to be common with a huge operation, but we're just seeing it play out in front of us.
So, Dr. Jalad, what do you think is going on here? I mean, and it's a difficult issue because in some ways, who are the states supposed to complain? I mean, do they complain to the government? Do they complain to Pfizer? They probably have to communicate to their own populations who are of hospitals and nursing homes and vulnerable frontline workers who were expecting that they were going to get vaccinated next week and now are hearing that that's no longer possible. So I can kind of understand why they're saying, hey, wait a minute, we didn't screw this up. Something's changing here, right?
Absolutely. Everybody is under tremendous pressure, and from all sides. And you mentioned in the hospitals.
Yeah, you see that snaz he got, right? That's a Edomite. Just like the woman that's talking on the side of him, she a Edomite. And Dr. Fauci, they are the Edomites. You got to pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
Up to the states, up to Operation Warp Speed, up
That's
to
Nas.
Pfizer. I think this is really a matter of communication. And the problem for hospitals and others who are vaccinating, like you mentioned, is that they have a lot of planning. They've set some expectations with their staff. They've probably scheduled appointments already. So for them, they're going to have to go and then tell people that we might have to delay it a week. So at each step, there are delays, and everybody is on edge, I think. And so I think the issue is really the communication between the hospitals and the states and the federal government. And they really need to get their acting order in terms of communication.
Meg, what are we missing? If Pfizer says it has full supplies, and the states are somehow being told that the supplies they expected weren't coming in, were they given overly optimistic numbers in the first place that are now being brought back down to earth? Or is there some other reason why this supply wouldn't be available?
Well, there are sort of multiple things going on. One was that we are hearing that the states were originally given some sort of just placeholder numbers, and that these numbers turn out to be different for what they're actually getting allocated. And some explanation of that is just that they want to establish sort of a steady cadence of dose shipments. But the backdrop of this, Kelly, that's sort of important because it explains, I think, the back and forth we're seeing between HHS and Pfizer, is that they are in a negotiation right now over getting more doses of Pfizer's vaccine next year for the second quarter. And there is some apparent, almost bad blood, it seems like, where you're hearing Secretary Alex Azar talking about Pfizer being secretive. Pfizer CEO was on our air Monday morning saying that they would like for the government to use the Defense Production Act to help them acquire more raw materials, some of which are running at critical supply, they said. And the original story was that Pfizer had offered that second quarter allotment of vaccine doses to the U.S. before selling them to other countries, and that the U.S. didn't exercise that option. Now it wants the doses in the second quarter, and it can't get them until the third quarter. The administration disputes that timeline, Kelly, and says they weren't actually made a formal offer. But now the argument is, can Pfizer somehow speed up the development for the second quarter? And that's where this bubbling up is happening, it seems like.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.
Okay, so anybody got any comments on that? Yeah, I can, me myself, I can smell a rat. All of a sudden, they cutting back on the doses. There's something going on. Like I was saying before, they already sent out these well, I guess you can call them agreements or whatever, where you can't sue neither one of these companies that's putting out these vaccines. They can't be sued. So that's a red flag right there to me. Yeah. So keep an eye on that. So I was showing you how they're using ACON with this with the the back to Africa thing, They call us Africans, but we're Israelites. So I'm gonna play this right here. So it's like just trying to be informative.
It's the fact. You know, America wasn't built for that. It was true. I mean, it's no secret. You see that now, even with Trump's administration, just how much we are separated, and all minorities in America are separated. That's nothing you can change overnight in America. I mean, 2 terms of presidency will never change that because it's too much of history. But all you can do is create opportunities for African Americans to see.
So this is, I think, this is like a day ago, 2
so I'm gonna
days
make
ago.
it easier for Americans, African Americans specifically, to go back to Africa. I wouldn't be surprised if I become president and ship them all back to Africa. America would love that. But what would it do? It would give them so much more power, and it would allow them to understand their true value, their true worth. And they would definitely be a lot better off. And they won't know that until something like that happens. A drastic change has to happen for them to understand that.
Drastic change.
Program is to, to make Trump supporters happy by saying, I will get rid of black people for you.
I will be
all back to Africa.
I give everybody $1 million and send them back home. And I guarantee you they'll be happy.
So you think black people would be happier in a way in Africa than in the US?
African Americans would be so much more happier in Africa, but they don't know that because they never did. And that's the sad part, because they've put so much fear in African Americans history-wise and currently about Africa that most of them are afraid to go to Africa.
Do you know the rapper Shaq West from New York?
Yeah.
His parents sent him back to Senegal at one point when he was doing bad in school, to teach him a lesson and to teach him where he came from. Do you think it's something that American parents should do more often with their kids to remind them where who they are?
I think it would be a great tool, but the problem is their parents are even afraid to go to Africa. African American parents, man, listen, in America, when you mention Africa, they start shaking. Everybody's so afraid of Africa because they did such a great job of brainwashing African Americans when it comes to Africa. So it's one of those things where you almost have to just let time come, let the generation, the diaspora, slowly educate them to get them mindset back to wanting to go back home.
Tonight there's a Burna Boy concert in Paris. He's big right now. We in France, we love the African music scene. During the BET Awards, his mom said every black person should remember that they were African before they became anything else. Is it something that you would be able to say as well?
Oh, 100%. I currently believe that. I believe that 100%. But I think history tells the truth all the time. It's a matter of who hears it, who wants to believe it. That's what it boils down to. But we just have to be true to ourselves.
This is why, everything linked to you wanting to give back to Africa. You did not consider, your life without this giving back part of it.
No, I didn't say that at all.
And would you say you have succeeded in giving back?
I would say that I've succeeded as people noticing that I am giving back, but I think the giving I haven't succeeded yet. There's a lot more left to do. I'm happy is
Ma, look at me. Miss Positivity. Yeah, she got her Miss Positivity hat on. Hey, is this muted, Ma?
Pretty much society for the moment.
Yeah, so like I was saying before, they're using Acon in a big way. So every time I get a little update on it, I'm trying to post it. So anybody got any comments on what they heard or what they think? Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read Psalm 73, and then we're gonna go into reveal a little need to know out of the Tanakh. So it says in Psalm 73 says it's the mystery of the prosperous wickedness. The mystery of the prosperous wickedness. So truly God is good to Israel, even to such as a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covers them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart. They have more than heart could wish, than the heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are run out to them. And they say, how doeth God know, and is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued, and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I shall offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me, until I went into the sanctuary of God. Then understood I their end. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down in destruction. How are they brought into desolation? As in a moment, they are utterly consumed with terrors. As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou wakest, thou shalt despise their image. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. So foolish was I, and ignorant I was as a beast before thee. Nevertheless, I am continuously with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. Thou hast guided me with thy counsel, and afterwards received me to glory. Whom have I in heaven but thee? And there is none upon the earth that I desire beside thee. My flesh and my heart faileth, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. For lo, they that are far from thee shall perish. Thou hast destroyed all them that go a whoring from thee. But it is good for me to draw nigh to God. I have put my trust in the Lord God, that I may desire all thy works. Okay. Anybody got any comments on that?
Which psalm was that, Nana?
73.
Okay, thank you.
So it's somewhat reminds me of Psalm 37. About not paying attention to, not worrying about what the wicked is doing and how the wicked is prospering, because he tells you that you just keep your eye on him, and you're gonna look up one day and the wicked be gone, they be disappeared. Because the road they traveling is the road of destruction. Because if you're not paying attention to the Creator and his order that he got in place, you gonna slip. You're slipping on a slippery slope. So your end gonna come if you're not trusting in the Lord and dealing with his commandments and everything. You ain't gonna make it. So to me, that psalm right there and Psalm 37 is somewhat conveying the same thing.
You know, Leonard, I've always had this question. Why does it look like the wicked people are prospering, or why does it look like um it seems like, like whatever they do, it turns out good. And I mean, and it's almost like, I mean, I know better now, but I used to feel like, like wicked people get away with stuff. But I guess it's just in the, the Lord of hosts timing for as to when, you know, their end is up.
Right, right. It's that's the way it's being perceived. But when we know that the Most High using them to preserve us, it's like America. You know, America was set up for us to be here to preserve His people. So the
Mm-hmm.
riches that they consume and the riches that America have is maintaining us and keeping us from being becoming extinct. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
holding place. And
Okay.
when the time comes, we know that He's gonna take all that riches that they have and dump it in our lap.
Right. So, Leonard, what does it mean when it says the children of the world are wiser than the, okay, children of the world are wiser than the I think it says it like the children of darkness are wiser than the children of light, or the children of the world are wiser. Do you know what that's pertaining to?
What they say,
Hold on, I'll find it. I'll find it before the class is over.
right? That's this is it's like the same thing when he talking about Satan. He says Satan is wiser than this, but that wisdom that he got ain't the wisdom that the Most High uh is talking about. That wisdom that he have and the wisdom that they have is gonna bring them down to destruction. They're gonna dig a hole for themselves. Just like what we see now with the Americans, the system America put in place, this capitalistic system we see now is becoming their enemy because it's coming to an end. Is nothing they can do is keep it from collapsing in on itself. It's collapsing in on itself because of how it was created and how it came about. And so we ain't. That's what's going on with a lot of Israelites today. They assuming and looking at the system around them, and because it's been here for seem like forever, they assuming and anticipating that it's gonna always be here. But like I said in Psalm 37, the Most High says, "Fret not." So the wicked gonna be doing this one thing one day, and the next day you ain't gonna be able to find it. You're gonna disappear. That's the
Right.
road.
Absolutely, Leonard. And I think that saying actually is in the New Testament.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Right.
we know how much weight that have.
Right. Exactly. Right.
All right.
So
Thank you.
okay. So I'm doing a little segment right here on just something you need to know. I showed you over and over again how this connection that the Most I have with David, and so I'm gonna give you a example of it. There's a profound example. Like I said, I hope it helps somebody. So what's going on? He told David that he always got a seed preserved for David, no matter what's going on. He's going to keep a seed preserved for David. David's never going to be without a seed. And what he mean by a seed, he's talking about from the time David was established in his household, it's always going to be a seed from David's loin, umbilical cord to umbilical cord on the earth. It ain't gonna never be. He's not never going to be without a seed. So when you understand that, like I said, with the creation, people want to assume that during the time of the create, when the Most High was doing his creating, when he created the animals and all that, you would assume he made one gazelle, one female gazelle, and one male gazelle. But when we look at the gazelles, we see them in herds. So he didn't create one gazelle and one female gazelle, one male and one female. He created a herd. He didn't create them like that. He created them in herds. So he said, to understand his creation, understand him, look at his creation. So with that being said, he don't just have one of David's seeds that he preserving from one generation to the next. He got a bundle of David's seeds. He just chooses one out of them. But he not, that's a suicide mission, just riding off of one seed and, from one generation to another. But it's David's seed right now is in abundance. He's just going to get one out of that seed, bring up one out of that seed. And that, with that understanding, when you go to, disconnect yourself from the New Testament and you go to Isaiah 9:6. Isaiah 9:6. And this right here brings this brings the understanding of what I'm talking about to light. It says in the King James chapter 9 verse 1 of Isaiah, it says the title is the Prince of Peace. So you say, well, what are you talking about? David was a man of war, and then he brought Solomon on the throne after David. Because David was a man of war, Solomon, which means priest. Solomon was a prince from David, but Solomon had a peaceful reign because of what his daddy did. His daddy was a warrior, a man of war. So he had established David as, David came about as peace. So the covenant he got with David that Israel going to do this and do that, 2 or 3 of his seeds might come on the throne and be wicked as hell, but he always going to bring one up that's going to bring peace, just like he did with Solomon. So we're going to read that, Isaiah 9:6. This ain't pertaining to the New Testament, no kind of way. It says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called a Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. There it is right there. So 7, of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from henceforth, even and forever. And the zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform it. So this is Lord of hosts, Michael, Lord of hosts, the second in command under Yahweh. He's controlling the Yahweh's kingdom. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna give you an example of it, or what I was just conveying, and I'm going to 2 Kings, and we're gonna watch it play out. So what we're dealing with is we're dealing with the time of Ahaziah, Jerum, and let me find. So what then happened is Israel as a nation them been split because of what Solomon was doing in his old age. He started worshiping worship in the high places, and he started marrying all these women and started putting out all these idols all up over Israel. And so the Most High, because of David, he rent the kingdom, but he kept Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in the southern kingdom, and he gave the 10 tribes to Jeroboam. So when that happened, what you have to understand what's going on is 2 kings ruling in the land of Israel at the same time. You got a king in the southern kingdom, and you got a king in the northern kingdom. 10 tribes got a king in the other one. So when you understand it, which a lot of people don't, the scriptures come alive. So I'm gonna show you that right here. And like I said, keep in mind this covenant, how the Most High working his jelly with this covenant with David. So what's going on right here is, it tells you right here, I'm in 2 Kings chapter 8, verse 25. It says, the title is Ahaziah reigns over Judah. And I'm telling you, it's 2 kings reigning at the same time. So 25 says, in the 12th year of Jerum, the son of Ahaz, king of Israel, that's the northern kingdom. did Ahaz, the son of Jeroboam, king of Judah, begin to reign. So we see Ahaz reigning in Judah, in Jerusalem, and Jeroboam, son of Ahab is reigning in Israel, the 10 tribes. They reigned at the same time. It says 2 and 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Atla, the daughter of Omira, king of Israel. And if you go and do your research on this guy right here, Omira, he was wicked as hell. He did a lot of stuff in Israel that leads all the way to them being cast out and sent to Babylon. Like I said, do your homework on that. It's Omri. So did in 27, and he walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord as did Ahab, for he was a son-in-law of the house of Ahab, and he went with Jeroboam, the son of Ahab, to war against Hazael, king of Syria, and I can't pronounce his word, Ramoth and Gilead, and the Syrians wounded Jeroboam, and the king Jeroboam went back to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramoth when he fought against Jezreel, king of Syria, and Ahaz, the son of Jeroboam, king of Judah, went down to see Jeroboam, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel because he was sick. So what's happening is both of these kings, one in Judah and the one in Israel, both of them wicked as hell. And even worse than that, Ahab, which everybody know Ahab is, Ahab and Jezebel was wicked as hell. So the Most High want both of them gone. So that's what we're gonna pick it up at. I'm in chapter 9, and it's the guy Jeroboam that was wounded. He's getting ready to be replaced by this guy called Jehu. He was anointed. Elisha anointed him king over Israel. So it says Elisha, the prophet, called one of his children of the prophets and said unto him, gird up thy loins and take this box of oil in thine hand and go to Ramoth Gilead. Because see, the king of Israel, he been wounded. He wicked as hell, but he been wounded. And the Most High want Elisha to tell, take one of his prophets or Levites and go and anoint this guy, Jehu. And when thou comest thither, look out there, Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nietzsche, to go in and make him arise up from among his brethren and carry him to an inner chamber, then take the box of oil and pour it on his head and say, thus says the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel, then open the door and flee and tarry out. So the young man, the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead, and when he came, behold, the captain of the host was sitting, and he said, I have an errand to thee, O captain. And Jehu said unto which of us? And he said, to thee, O captain. And he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, thus says the Lord God of Israel, I have anointed thee king over the people of the Lord, even over Israel, and thou shalt smite the house of Ahab. See, this the mission, the reason why he made him the king over Israel. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab, thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants, the prophets. Ahab was killing the prophets. He was killing the Lord of hosts prophets. It says, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord at the hand of Jezebel, his wife. For the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ajibal, all these wicked kings. And the dogs shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. So the reason why Elisha told him to anoint him, that's all anointing means, is just all being poured on him. And so he said, pour the oil on him and get the hell out of there, because if you don't, they're gonna kill you, because you done went in there and anointed this king, knowing what the events that's gonna take place after that. Because once he anointed him, then the Most High gonna go to work to fulfill what he just told him. So he told him, when you know him, get out of there. So he did that. So verse 11 says, Jehu came forth to the servants of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore come this mad fellow to thee? And he said unto them, Ye know the man and his communication. And they said, It is false. Tell us now. And he said, Thus and thus spake he to me, saying, Thus says the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then they hastened and took every man his garment and put it under him on the top of the stairs and blew the trumpet, saying, Jehu is king. So now, Jehu's going to go to work on what the Most High told him. So Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, son of Nisha, conspired against Jehoram. Now Jehoram had kept Ramoth Gilead, he and all Israel, because Hazael, king of Syria. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds in which Syrians had given him when he fought with Hazael, king of Syria. And Jehu said, If it be your mind, then let none go forth nor escape out of the city to go to tell it to Jezreel. So Jehu rode on his chariot and went to Jezreel, for Jehoram lay there, and Ahaz, king of Judah, was come down to see Jezreel. And there stood a watchman on a tower in Jezreel, and he said, and he spied the company of Jehu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Jehu said, Take a horseman and send and meet them, and let them say, It is peace. So there went one of the horsemen to meet him and said, Thus says the king, It is peace. And Jehu said, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, The messenger came to them, but he cometh not again. Then he went out the second time on horsemen, which came to them and said, Thus says the king, Is it peace? And Jehu answered, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, He came even unto them and cometh not again. And the driving is like the driving of Jehu the son of Nisha, for he driveth fiercely. And Jehoram said, Make ready. And his chariot was made ready. And Jehoram, king of Israel, and Ahaz, the king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot. So these are two men, two kings. The Most High then anointed Jehu to kill. He wanted to kill them, wipe their whole household out, because they wicked as hell. So 21, Jehoram said, Make ready. And his chariot was made ready. And Jehoram, king of Israel, and Ahaz, the king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot. And they went out against Jehu and met him in the portion of Nebat in the Jezreelites. And it came to pass when Jehoram saw Jehu that he said, Is it peace? And he answered, What peace? So long as the whoredom of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcraft are so many. And Jehoram turned his hand and fled and said, Ahaziah, this is treachery, O Ahaziah. And Jehu drew a bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram between his arms, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. Then said Jehu to Bidkar, his captain, Take up and cast him in the portion of the field of Nabal, the Jezreelite, for remember how that when I and thou rode together after Ahab his father, the Lord laid this burden upon him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Nebat and the blood of his sons, says the Lord, and I will requite thee in this plat, says the Lord. Now, therefore, take and cast him into the plat of ground according to the word of the Lord. So he just killed one of them. And so then Jehu, 27, Jehu, but when Ahazah, the other one, king of Judah, saw this, he saw how Jehu had killed the king of Israel. Ahazah, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house, and Jehu followed after him and said, Smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up of Gur, which is by the Abim, and he fled to Megiddo and died there. And his servants carried him in the chariot to Jerusalem, buried him in a sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David. And in the 11th year of Jehoram, the son of Ahaz, began Ahaziah to reign over Judah. So this King Jehu killed both of them. So the king, I'm reading all this for a reason, because now this Ahaziah is out of David lineage. So the Most High got a covenant with David, saying that he always gonna reserve a seed out of David's lineage. But Jehu just killed Ahaziah, right? So now we're gonna pick it up in 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezebel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face, tied her head, and looked out at the window. And as Jehu entered in at the gate, he said, Hadad Zimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? He's talking to these eunuchs. Says, who is on my side? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses, and he trodden her underfoot. And when he was come up, he did eat and drink, and said, go see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, this is the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel. So now that this man had killed both of these kings, the king of Judah mother come out, and she mad as hell because Jehu killed her son. So let's look at what happened. So I'm in 2 Kings chapter 10, verse 32. In those days the Lord began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them in all the coasts of Israel, from Jordan eastward, and the land of Gilead and Gilead, of the Gadites, and the Reubenites, and the Manassites, from Ar, which is by the river Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan. Now the rest of the acts of Jehu, and all that he did, and all his might, are they not written in the books of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehu slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria, and Jehaziah his son reigned in his stead. In the time that Jehu reigned over Israel in Samaria was 20 and 8 years. So now here comes this man, this guy that Ahaziah's mother that Jehu killed. And she come out in chapter 11, it says, and when Atlas, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, that Jehu had killed her, she rose up to destroy all the seed royal. So you got to ask yourself, what's seed royal? Seed royal is all the children that come forth from David's lineage through Ahaziah, because Ahaziah is out of David's lineage. So that brings us to this predicament I'm telling you about. The Most High got a covenant with David that he's going to preserve a seed, always have a seed preserved to reign on the throne of David, and more so a righteous seed. But he always going to have a seed, whether it's wicked or righteous, that he got preserved. So this woman, she trying to kill all the children, all the sons that Ahaziah got. And so if she succeed, she's gonna cut off David's lineage, and the Most High ain't going for that. So let's look at what happened in verse 1, chapter 11, verse 1. Her intention is to kill all the seed royal, all the seeds of David from her son, because her son dead. Verse 2, but Jehoshua Sheba, whatever her name, the daughter of the king Jerum, that's the other king he killed, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons, which were slain, and they hid him, even him and his nurse, in a bedchamber from Atla, so that he was not slain. So what we're looking at, the Most High is performing exactly what he said. She went to kill all of them, but before she got there, the Most High had Ahaziah's sister take one of his sons and went and hid him in one of the chambers in the temple. And so she thinking that she had killed all of them, but the Most High got one of them, got the sister of the king to stash one of them off on the side. So anyway, to to come to my conclusion, she thinking all of them dead, but we got one preserved. So what happens is in 2 Kings chapter 11 verse 16, Most High want her dead now because this boy is the one that has the ring. So it says his name Joash, and they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by which the horses came into the king's house, and there she was slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people that they should be the Lord's people, between the king also and to the people. And all the people of the land went in into the house of Baal, break it down, his altars and all his images, break they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Mattan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. And the priest appointed officers over the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers of 100, and the captains, and the guard, and all the people of the land, and they brought down the king from the house of the Lord. This is the son that they had, Most High had reserved. And they came by the way of the gate of the guard of the king's house, and he sat on the throne of the kings, and all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet, and they slew Adnah with a sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Joash when he began to reign. So see that? So up until this point, it ain't no order in Israel. So being the Most High preserved his son, he had in the chamber, brought him out at 7 years old, which is nothing new, and he put him on the throne. So what you're looking at is what we just went over is Most High being faithful to David, and he preserved his son and brought him and put him on the throne. And so I'm showing you this is what Isaiah 9 and 6 is talking about. But we've been told in Christianity that 9 and 6 is talking about Jesus Christ. But it's not talking about, he's talking about the Most High got a responsibility to David, a covenant with David. He's always going to he's going to preserve a seed, a son for him to put on his throne. And so with that being said, us being over here for 400 years and being out our land for over 2,500 years, Israel is without his son. And so in order for us to go back, this seed that he got preserved, just like this boy was hid in the chamber of the temple, David got sons that's here on the earth today. And so when you understand that somewhere it's a seed out of Aaron and it's a seed out of David that the Most High got to bring forth. And so with that understanding, I'm gonna open it up for some questions. Anybody got any comments or questions on that before we leave? Anybody understand that? Okay, so with that being said, let's see where we at. Okay, yeah. So with that being said, if nobody have no more questions, being that we went so long this morning, I'm gonna close it out right here. Anybody got any comments about anything before we go? Question about something this morning or last night?
I have a question.
What you got?
I think I marked it in the book, but I think I forgot to write it on another piece of paper.
But you're real low.
I said, let me see. I think it's in first Samuel 6. Anyway, it's where David went and danced before the Lord, and his wife Michael. Yeah,
Michelle.
Uh,
Michelle.
Yeah, well, it's I think it's Michael. It's Michal.
Yeah, that's Michelle. You can pronounce it Michelle.
Oh, all right. So, so that would be 6:22. and it says, oh, okay, well, she was talking to him about.
You know what they said?
Yeah, it's 2 Samuel 6, and I guess you might want to start maybe at 20, because I want to talk about what she said to him and his response, and because it says that she never had any children, and I think perhaps the reason why is in what his response was to her. But I want clarity. That's why I'm asking.
Right. So it says. So what happened was, what's going on is, the ark was in. Moses had the ark in the tabernacle all that time. When they first built the ark, they had the tabernacle in the wilderness, a tent that it was in. And so when David came on the throne and he subdued Jerusalem, and he's getting ready to build a temple, he has to bring the ark into Jerusalem. And so he got everybody together, and then he was celebrating because the ark was finally being brought into Jerusalem. So he was, let me read them, start reading at 16. And saying, the ark of the Lord came into the city of David. Michelle, Saul's daughter, looked through the window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. And they brought in the ark of the Lord and set it in its place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings, peace offerings before the Lord. And as soon as David had made an end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord of hosts. And he dealt among all the people, even among all the whole multitude of Israel, as well as the women as the men, to everyone a cake of bread and a good piece of flesh and a flagon of wine, so as the people departed everyone to his tent. So they celebrated. So notice, if you know, I don't know if you know anything about a flagon of wine, but a flagon of wine is a goblet of wine. So they all drinking wine and celebrating because David knows the significance of it, because this ark been all over the place, and now they finally bringing it into the city of David, into Jerusalem, and so he celebrated. But Michelle, looking out the window and seeing him, she got a problem with it. She think he looking like a fool, dancing all around and all this with, So David recognized that. So when I'm picking it up in verse 20, then David returned and blessed his household. And Michelle, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, "How glorious was the king of Israel today, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaidens of his servants, as one of the vain fellows, shamelessly uncovering himself." And David said unto Michelle, "It was before the Lord which chose me before thy father and before all his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore will I play before the Lord, and I will set ye, I will yet be more vile than thus, and I will be base in mine own sight, and of the maid servants which thou hast spoken of them shall I be had in honor." Therefore Michelle, the daughter of Saul, had no child unto the Lord until the day of her death. So Most High cursed her, but she didn't have no kids because she discredited David.
Okay.
So she thinking that David looked like a fool, but David understand what's going on. He know that the Lord of hosts chose him. He the Messiah. The Lord of hosts chose him, so he got it on his mind to bring this ark into to Jerusalem and have it set, because he knowing that Most High had already showed him that Solomon's going to build a temple to the Lord. That's what he wanted to do, but he couldn't because David had shed so much blood. So David setting everything up for Solomon, and this is why he's doing this. But she got something else going on, and then so the Most High, he closed the womb up where she didn't have no kids, and not only that, Michelle is not Israelite. She the daughter of some a woman that Saul had married that wasn't Israelite, and how her and David hooked up was Saul had David to go, thinking he was gonna get killed. He wanted him to go and bring him back the foreskin of 100 Philistines. And when you understand who these Philistines are, they descended from these giants. They mighty men, and then on top of that, they're very warlike and vicious. So if he figured he tell him to go get 100 foreskins, he ain't gonna make it back. But David went and killed 100 Philistines and got their foreskin and brought it back to him. And the prize that he got was Michelle. So it wasn't like he's crazy about it. He got it because of Saul threw him in a fix. So
Yeah.
she wasn't right.
Yeah, and it sounds like David was feeling the Most High, or the Lord of Hosts, obviously, and she wasn't. So,
right.
So she was kind of like out of sync in the first place.
Right. It's right.
Without
and it's because of who she are, who she is.
Yeah,
That's why. Right. So that goes right back to what he told them when they came into the land. Don't let your sons marry their daughters, and don't let your daughters marry their sons. Because it's gonna be like this. They're gonna be out. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So anybody else got any questions? Okay. Let me hit this. Okay. Okay, how you doing there, Miss Jenkins? I ain't seen you in a minute. Okay. Okay. So with that being said,